I was born not but 20 years ago. The years they've not been good to me. Regardless, for those 20 years, I have served the Empire as her ruler, fighting day and night by her side, fearing nothing and kneeling to no man. Except for my uncle. I just really like that guy. However, in darkness, a doom sweeps the land. Absolutely horrid AI and, oh god, oh by Ismir, the dialogue!
I don't know you, and I don't care to know you.
It's a tragedy. However, somebody out there has to be the one to face these tragedies, and I believe that man was me. And more importantly, I believe that it is my destiny. Holy shit. The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion is, well, obviously the fourth installment in the Elder Scrolls franchise, called Oblivion. As some of you may have seen, I've already done videos on both Skyrim and Morrowind, meaning that this video marks the completion of my 3-part series reviewing the Elder Scrolls games. And no, I'm not playing Arena or Daggerfall, okay? I'm not fucking 60. At any rate, as usual, I played through the entirety of Oblivion, including many side quests, and will now roll the intro so that the actual fucking review can start already. As with Morrowind, I plan to start off this review of Oblivion with a bit of background. Oblivion is the fourth installment in the Elder Scrolls RPG series, released in 2006. As with many of the other Elder Scrolls games, this one too pushed the boundaries of what video games can be and accomplish.
Chaos. But there is yet hope. Here is Martin Septim, true son of Uriel Septim.
The game's premise is based around an invasion from the plains of Oblivion, hence the name. At any rate though, let's talk setting, plot, story, lore, etc. Oblivion is set during the last year of the Third Era, as Patrick Stewart so helpfully explains. During this trying time, a cult known as the Mythic Dawn, who are worshippers of the Daedric Lord known as Mehrunes Dagon, have made great strides in their mission, which is to help Dagon invade Tamriel. Again, now this is obviously easier said than done because beings from Oblivion, especially ones as powerful as Daedric princes, aren't exactly allowed to just fucking waltz in like it's bingo night down at the fucking River Oaks. To explain this, you have to understand the fact that Oblivion and Mundus are two different planes of existence. Oblivion is an endless plane of chaos that is ruled by the Daedra, and Mundus is a comparatively more orderly realm inhabited by cats and the other races. Between these two realms is a magical barrier fueled by the dragon fires, which keep Daedra out of Mundus. Now you may be wondering why beings as powerful as Daedric princes can't go through this barrier, while little bitches such as Atronex and Dremora can be summoned from Oblivion in small quantities. Now the best way I can explain this is like this. Imagine this magical barrier being almost like a thin piece of indestructible plastic wrap. Plastic wrap, like in your kitchen. If you try to go through it with your whole body or something, I mean, nothing will really occur. But if you simply just poke it with your finger a bit, you can kind of bend it and touch what's on the other side. This is essentially how this magical barrier works. Lesser creatures may be able to cross it with some difficulty, but ultra-powerful Daedra lords simply cannot. As such, in Oblivion, the Mythic Dawn has to put out the sacred dragon fires to let Dagon invade. They do exactly that. The way they do this is by murdering the Emperor, Uriel Septim, who really just seems a lot different in this game than from the fucking first one. He goes from this fucking Shakespeare-ass motherfucker, henceforth thy art the eternal champion, to just like your fucking uncle. I mean, like, it's pretty jarring, but whatever.
Thou art truly a child of the Empire. I thank thee for thy assistance. I have a particular idea as to the question of your service in mind. From this day forth, Thou art named the Eternal Champion. From thy hand shall be dealt the needs of the Empire. I, Uriel Septim, true Emperor of Tamriel, do decree and thus make law. Arise, my champion, and take thy rightful place at my side.
The signs I read show the end of my penis.
The reason that killing him puts out the dragon fires is because they are linked to the sacred septum blood and are lit anew each time a new septum is crowned. However, with the emperor murdered and apparently no heir to the throne, the dragon fires are just put out for good. Now this may seem tragic, but the true extent of the Mythic Dawn's crimes here are taking away Patrick Stewart from us so quickly. Anyways, the Mythic Dawn killed the emperor and steal the Amulet of Kings. The sacred amulet needed to light the dragon fires. With the fires out and the magical barrier down, Dagon manages to break through and starts raising hellish Oblivion gates not only all around Cyrodiil, where the game is set, but really all over Tamriel. However, not all hope is lost if you, the hero, can find the last heir to the Septum Throne and find him the Amulet of Kings. The dragon fires may be relit and Tamriel saved from this evil plot. That is essentially the premise of Oblivion. Of course, within the game, you, the hero, fulfill the necessary requirements to take down Dagon. First, you find Martin's Septum, the last Septum. Next, the Amulet of Kings is stolen and you try to go find it, but instead, witness Mankar Cameron, the leader of the Mythic Dawn, take it away into the realm of Oblivion, referred to as Paradise. The rest of the in-game main plot revolves around finding a way to enter Paradise, as well as closing Oblivion gates around the map to help the cities. Once everything is gathered, Martin successfully makes a portal to Paradise. You find Mankar Cameron, kill the elven bastard, and now the Amulet of Kings is safe and secure. You close the Great Oblivion Gate right outside Bruma, and then you and Martin make your way to the Imperial City where Dagon is staging his final invasion, spearheaded by the Red Maniac himself. However, it's too late. Lighting the dragon fires will do nothing if Dagon is already here, so Martin does the only thing he can. He shatters the Amulet of Kings and uses its divine power to turn into an avatar of Akatosh, essentially sacrificing himself to banish Dagon and all the other Daedra from Mundus, closing the barrier for what appears to be the near future. And that, my friends, is Oblivion. I mean, truly a stunning conclusion, but can we talk about how Dagon loses again? I mean, for fuck's sake, this guy should just give up already. What is it, the 80th attempt to invade Mundus and he still fucks it up? Listen, buddy, Dagon, I get it. I respect the persistence, but maybe this whole invasion shtick really isn't your thing, okay? I mean, pick up a hobby like wood carving or fucking anything else. Anyways, something I find very interesting about this whole plot is the fact that you aren't really the main character if you think about it. Sure, you do a great many things and are very important, but at the end of the day, it is Martin Septim who sacrifices himself and banishes Dagon for good. Even going back to the start, you're just a random person in jail. No prophecy, no nothing. This being the case, I believe that of all of the Elder Scrolls games, Oblivion does the best job really allowing you to roleplay because, as I've said before ad nauseum, if you start as no one, you can become anyone. Anywho, enough of that shit, let's get to the nitty-gritty, the gameplay. As usual, let's talk combat first. And I believe in my initial Skyrim video, I share the sentiment that Skyrim has the best combat and Morrowind has the worst combat. However, after finally playing through all three games and really refreshing my memory, I'm not so sure of that anymore. I still do uphold that Skyrim certainly has the best combat, I mean, by a long shot, but I'm not quite convinced that Oblivion really has much better combat than Morrowind. Now, let's get one thing out of the way here, okay? Morrowind has chance-based hit mechanics, and Oblivion does not. That in and of itself lends massive points to Oblivion, but the real issue with Oblivion is that the combat is extraordinarily clunky. Like clunky McClunky, okay? This shit is bad. Now, granted, Morrowind's combat doesn't exactly float like a dream or nothing, but what Morrowind lacks in smoothness, it more than makes up for it in complex and diverse mechanics. So in this sense, I'm not really sure I can say that Oblivion really has better combat. I would say more or less that they're same level of shit. Yeah, okay, I said it. They're shit. Listen, I've had a lot of time to think about this, and the longer I do, the more sure I get. Elder Scrolls games have never really been about combat. Obviously, yes, it's in there, and it can be fun, but what made Elder Scrolls games great, in my opinion, were the interesting worlds Bethesda created. The kind of worlds you can really get lost in. The vast lore, the captivating tales, intriguing characters, and a beautiful environment just begging to be explored. For me, that is what was always really captivating about these games. So to tell you the truth, I don't really care if the combat in these games are fairly subpar because the worlds more than deliver. That being said, this shit fucks, and it's worth talking about it. Also, just as all the other Elder Scrolls games, Oblivion's combat is based upon three main playstyles: stealth, mage, and warrior. I picked a stealthy character for this game because I wanted to experience the Dark Brotherhood questline, and anything I could do to avoid this fucking mess would be greatly appreciated. However, there are, of course, other aspects of gameplay, so let's talk character creator. Now, the character creator is essentially the exact same as all the other Elder Scrolls games. Pick your race, class, yada yada yada, but the real interesting decision here from Bethesda is whatever in the unholy name of fuck that is. Yeah, listen, I don't know how these character models went through QA testing, but it's a fucking miracle, okay? All of the models either look like Play-Doh figurines or actual legitimate sleep paralysis demons. To tell you the truth, I was ready to go the Germa route with a fucked up Argonian named Shits and Sinks, but instead decided on Walmart brand Darth Maul. I mean, hey, listen, silver lining. You don't need mods for this character creator, okay? You can make your character look as absolutely fucked as possible, and you know what? I like that freedom, and it's a respectable decision from Bethesda, if a rather funny one. Other than that, though, let us speak briefly upon just general things, you know, exploration and the like. Now, I will say, the explorability in this game is somewhat in a strange place. There's a bunch of shit to find in this world, but not a lot of incentive to find it. Now, allow me to take a risk here and actually find a criticism. You ready? Okay. I think that the environments in Oblivion are fucking boring. That's right, I think they are fucking boring. I mean, come on, when we read things about Cyrodiil in earlier Scrolls games, it sounded like this really amazing and unique place. But when we actually see in Oblivion, it's just kind of, generic. I mean, it just looks like any other generic D&D European forest. Now, it's a cliche for a reason. It works. And yeah, the setting and environments are serviceable. It's just, we've seen better from the series beforehand and since. Both Morrowind and Skyrim have much more interesting environments that just beg to be explored. The mystical and truly unique lands of Vardenfell are the perfect blend of alien and recognizable, reeling you in with interest without feeling too alienating. Meanwhile, the perfect blend of grassy pastures and snowy mountaintops of Skyrim evoke a feeling of genuine wonder, a beautiful, wide landscape with an infinite amount of secrets to hold. And at the end of the long day, you find a nice, cozy tavern nearby to escape the cold. These games' environments are truly unique and wonderful, and it really just pushes you to just go out and explore. Meanwhile, in Oblivion, well, yes, there may be just as much stuff to find theoretically, you just aren't always willing to find it, at least in my own humble opinion. Last thing before moving on, guilds and quests. Now, I may have just taken Oblivion out back and shot in the dick, but get ready to whip out your feel-better stuffed bears and balloons because I've only got good things to say from here. Great, in fact. I say this with complete certainty in my voice and in my heart. Oblivion, without a shadow of a doubt, has the most well-developed quests and guilds by a pretty large margin. I mean, I don't believe there's a single guild in the entirety of the Elder Scrolls half as good as the Oblivion Dark Brotherhood. That guild has some of the most fun quests, memorable characters, and interesting twists in the whole series.
No! I'm too late. I thought I could get here in time. Thought I could stop you! By Sithis, what have you done? What madness has claimed you? You have betrayed me. You have betrayed the Dark Brotherhood. Why?
And to be frank, the Thieves Guild isn't far behind. I mean, what the fuck do you do in Skyrim's Thieves Guild? Burn down like a fucking beehive? Whoop-de-doo, woohoo, Skyrim, baby! Listen, in Oblivion, you get to work with the fucking Grey Fox himself to steal a goddamned Elder Scroll from the Imperial Palace, okay? An Elder Scroll! Elder Scrolls! Damn series is called the Elder Scrolls. At least we get to fucking see one in this game. I mean, really though, fuck is this shit called the Elder Scrolls for? This is literally the first game where we actually get to see one, and we don't even do anything with it. Guess they just needed some generic fantasy-sounding shit, so they just called it that and said, fuck it, we'll decide what they do later. Anyways, yeah, awesome guilds. Quest 2, I mean, that one Dark Brotherhood quest in the murder house was Chef's Kiss.
Now, who might you be? Please, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a funny one. Good, I'm glad one of us has a sense of humour about all this. It'll make our time here that much more enjoyable. Whoa!
I mean, it wasn't exactly hard or anything as his pussy pushover bitch-ass bitches died at one right hook, but it was certainly fun. And that, Allies for Bruma quest. We just pretend that didn't happen, okay? Okay, I can't. What in the unholy shit were you thinking, Bethesda? Listen, I love your games, guys, but I would like to know what kind of fucking herbs you sons of bitches were on when you made this quest. I mean, these are the type of quests that make you contemplate getting back on Crocodile. I mean, who approved this shit? Like, I mean, it isn't, like, hard, per se, especially playing as an assassin who can literally just walk through the whole thing, but closing about 75 Oblivion gates still isn't exactly my idea of fun. Either way, though, when it comes to guilds and quests, none do it better than Oblivion. Next on the hit list here would have been the DLC. However, as is the story with the other two games I reviewed, I simply don't have enough time to finish the DLC. However, I realize that it's frankly a sin to speak about Oblivion and not to mention the Shivering Isles, so I played it very briefly to just refresh my memory a bit, and I still more or less remember it from a while back, so let's just talk about it real quick. The Shivering Isles is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the greatest and most memorable DLCs in video game history. In a field of horse armor, this was the one DLC that really rose to the occasion and kicked some fine ass. This DLC is so good, it honestly would have been good as just a standalone game. The Shivering Isles is a DLC for Oblivion that takes us into the realms of Oblivion. However, we are taking a break from Dagon's Deadlands and are instead taking this little field trip to the confusing and yet strangely inviting realms of the Mad God himself, Sheogorath. This place is, of course, named the Shivering Isles. The DLC's plot has us going to this realm and helping Sheogorath stop the Grey March. Essentially, there was a Daedric Lord of Order known as Jiggalag. Yes, seriously, Jiggalag. Jiggalag became so powerful that other Daedric princes began to fear him. As a result, they casted a curse of madness onto him, turning part of him into the mad god Sheogorath and his realm of perfect order into the chaotic Shivering Isles. Once at the end of every era, though, Jiggalag is allowed to return and take back the Isles in an event known as the Grey March. However, this Grey March is doomed to be reformed back into the chaos that is the Shivering Isles. Stopping this Grey March for good, though, is the main objective of Sheogorath and consequently the main character. As I said, I wasn't able to actually finish the DLC, so I'll skip all the middle stuff. At the end, the main character fights Jiggalag himself, wins, and then Sheogorath gives up his throne and gives you all of his power, making you Sheogorath. This basically means that the protagonist of Oblivion is without doubt the most powerful Elder Scrolls protagonist because they become a literal Daedric prince, which, if I may jog your memory, are stronger than gods. Anyways, though, it's a great DLC, complete with a cool new area to explore and Sheogorath's amazing quotes.
Wonderful! Time for a celebration! Cheese for everyone! Wait! Scratch that! Cheese for no one. That can be just as much of a celebration if you don't like cheese, true?
Oh, and before the outro, mods. They exist. You can use them or not. Who cares? At any rate, though, ladies and gents, that was, of course, Oblivion. As I said, there are definitely things that are very, very wrong with this game. However, there are also many great things about this game. In the end, like most of the Elder Scrolls games, I love Oblivion, and try as it might, the Allies for Bruma quest couldn't quite tank that experience. Although, as I said, it definitely tried. In the end, Oblivion was and is a great game, and I would without doubt recommend it to anyone who enjoys fantasy RPGs or has enjoyed the other Elder Scrolls titles in the past. Just steer clear of that horse armor, it's just really bad for business.